Hey guys, this is Kevin from JazTime.com, and today we'll be going over a older Submariner. This is the Rolex Submariner two-tone diver's watch, reference number 16613. To give you a little history before we go on, this watch has been discontinued, but it was in production since 1988. It was replaced by a more recent model with the reference number of 116613 that has a new ceramic bezel. Okay, we do have a comparison of this watch and a newer version in our YouTube channel. This specific one that I'm reviewing is an A serial, so this was made in 1999. We do have the D serial, which has a few updates as well, and you can also check out that on our YouTube channel. So you can see the beginning point of this watch and the progression it's made throughout if you go ahead and check out our other videos. Okay, we'll be going over the price, the dial, the case, the crown, the bracelet, and the movement. Okay, so for the price of this watch, unfortunately, you can't get this at a regular Rolex retailer anymore. Like I said, it's been discontinued, but you can still get this watch off of JazTime for as low as $7,600. Okay. So the dial, as you can see, it's a much older version. It doesn't have that more modern maxi dial as Rolex has been trying to go larger with their watches. We still have these smaller index markers. Not necessarily harder to read, but it does add a little more simplicity to the dial face. It's got a very nice prismatic iridescent rich royal blue. It kind of has like that kind of shifting sunbursting dial. As you can see, it kind of changes a little bit in the light, little dark, little light there. It's absolutely gorgeous compared to the new modern blue. Okay, one thing to mention that kind of goes unnoticed is the date window. At the date window here on the right, at the 3 o'clock position, we do have the Cyclops lens on top of the sapphire crystal for easier magnification and viewing of that date. But that date window is actually an off-color white, and that's to match with the index markers and the gold of the bezel. It's to match that really nice yellow color and not to make that white pop out substantially more, and really fits the overall pattern of the watch. So that's very nice. One thing to mention is that the dial doesn't get a rehot, which is it has a Rolex name engraved in an inner bezel, until the later models in the 2004-2008 models of this watch. Okay, so moving on to the bezel. The bezel has a nice aluminum bezel insert. Has gold 60-minute gold indicators all around. It's very beautiful. Definitely does matches very well. The purpose of the bezel, though, is like I said, like I mentioned before, it is a diver's watch. So with a diver's watch, this was used to track elapsed time. So underwater, if you're diving underwater and you want to just track, like let's say that elapsed time, we move the little dot here towards the minute hand, and however much the minute hand moves, you can track that time on the top through the little indicators up here. Of course, the little thicker bars are 5 minutes increments, with the 10, 20, 30 being the obvious 10, 20, 30 minutes, so on and so forth. Okay, but for everyday use, it's pretty cool because you can also track. Let's just say you can track how fast you run a mile. You could just do the same thing and you can see how fast you run that mile. Or you're running late to a business meeting and you really need to keep track of your time. You can track how long it's taking each meeting to fully finish, so you can run off to your next one. So pretty cool feature, very simple, very easy to use. It is a unidirectional bezel though. As you can see, you can't turn it the other way, it only moves left. And there we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the case now. The case is just your standard Rolex case. Very nice, very sleek, and it actually matches the patterning from the case down to the bracelet much nicer much nicer overall. It is a 40 millimeter in diameter case, and that's the measurement from my index finger here to my thumb. That's 40 millimeters in diameter. For the profile, doesn't sit too high on the wrist, will definitely fit under suit cuffs, dress cuffs very nicely. The case back is a little bit bulging, but it should be fine overall. We have this nice high polish that goes along the side of the case to bring a little more shine to the watch, and that can also be said about the other side of the case. We have this high polish going on both sides as well. One thing I want to mention is that if you look closely at the case bottoms, you can see little holes at each end, and that's to allow for removal of the bracelet. Now, this, like I said, this is the older model. These holes on the case do go away after I believe the 2000 or 2004 to 2008, where it removes the holes and allows for the removal of the links from behind the lugs. But for this model, we have holes in the case that you can just press out, release that bracelet, and you can put on like different type of strap. If you like leather straps, you can put on a leather strap as well. Okay. Since we're here, let's go ahead and talk about the crown. The crown is a solid 18 karat yellow gold crown. It is a large crown, looking like it is a little bit larger than the width of the watch itself. As you can see, it protrudes above and below it. And it allows for simple features. If you go ahead and go counterclockwise, lets you open up its triple locking system. I've already unwound it to the utmost. This is the hand winding position that this watch is at the moment. Basically, you can wind the watch 20 to 30 times clockwise. Any more and you might damage the watch, so don't do too many winds. And one tick or one pop, if you tug it a little bit, will let you change the date. As you can see there, very fast, instantaneous changing of the date, very easy to use. Much better than having to do 2 revolutions of the hour hand just to change the date once. So very, very nice thing to have. And if you give one more final tug, you hear a nice pop, and that stops the second hand. As you can see, the second hand says stop, and you can adjust the hands bi-directionally. Okay. Always make sure you press that crown back in, as it'll start the second hand once more. You can see there. And always screw it nice and tight against the case to keep this watch water resistance up to 300 meters or 1,000 feet. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the bracelet now. So the bracelet is a very beautiful two-tone bracelet. Has a nice high polish going straight down the center to match from that bezel all the way down. Keeps a nice patterning. Has satin brushed steel polish on the outer. Sorry, not steel polish. It's satin finish steel on the outer portion of the links. It is a 3-piece link. This is the older style bracelet. As you can see, if I wiggle it a little bit up and down, these are hollow links in the center, so you can see it has a little more wiggle room on the bracelet. And as a pro, it does give a little more little more breathing room for your wrist. However, it will stretch over time, so the bracelet won't be looking like this years and years from now. And I'm talking about a very long time, so it's still a very durable bracelet. The newer style bracelets feature a solid links, which prevent that stretching from happening. This is just one of the older style bracelets. Okay. One thing I wanted to mention as we move on to the class is that we have the stainless steel class, but in the newer versions of 2004, 2008, Rolex actually puts a gold strip. It's like a thin gold strip, and they fuse it onto the stainless steel class itself to add to that nice patterning of the gold all throughout. But like I said, this is a 1999 model, so it's very old and they hadn't gone to that yet. So we have the stainless steel class. It's a very simple class. Pops open. It's a safety Oyster. As you can see, this is a safety came off, and this is the Oyster. You just pop that out. It looks like that. Unfortunately, not a very beautiful class, but it's still very durable. Very durable. As you can see, it has a Rolex name embossed onto the clasp itself. It's a very thin bladed clasp. Okay. Behind the clasp, we have these little holes here that actually allow for little small amounts of 2mm adjustments. Like I said, this was a diver's watch, and this was to allow divers to put this watch over their wetsuits. So this is what the adjustments were for. It's a little hard to adjust. You have to actually press in these little pins inside and adjust them throughout. Okay. One thing I want to mention about that is that it's not only for diving suits. If your wrist swells up, you can actually adjust it for that swelling of the wrist in the hotter days to give it a little more breathing room for your wrist. So it's still very nice to have. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the movement now. Okay, so the movement is housed on this in this simple Oyster case. It is what at the time was a newer movement called the 3135, but now modern day it's got a 15 year, more than 15 year extremely robust movement. The 3135 is a perpetual mechanical self-winding movement. It tracks very simple, tracks the hours, minutes, seconds, allows for the stopping of the seconds when you pull out that crown. For very precise timekeeping. Also lets the date have the instantaneous changing of that date. As I've shown you before, when I was moving that crown upwards, you saw the date change very quickly. And that's what the 3135 movement allows for. It's very simple. It's just overall very simple, very durable, and just being over the 15 years of being used in Rolex watches really says volumes about how well that movement has done. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you this watch on the wrist now. Once again, pop open that safety, pop open that bracelet. Okay, so here is that two-tone Submariner on my wrist. Just look at that. Once again, I want to mention the main thing about this to take away from all this is the dial. This blue dial is not found in the modern Submariner. As you can see, it has a nice changing of blue. If you adjust it in the light, some portions are darker than the blue, some portions are lighter. They've updated that newer Submariner to have a blue color, but it's more of a flat, more dull blue as to match the new ceramic bezel on that watch. This blue, that rich royal blue, is just so prismatic and iridescent. It's just very, very beautiful. So that's something to definitely keep in mind when looking at this watch compared to the new updated one. Okay. So if you like this video or you have any comments, leave a comment below. If you want to buy this watch or any other watch or any similar models of this watch for the lowest possible price, check out our website at JazTime.com. We have the lowest prices guaranteed. We offer free shipping and a 1-year warranty. Once again, if you like the videos, subscribe below. We have lots more to show you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.